What's poppin' people, it's your boy Shaq, aka Black Goku, and today we're here with some pretty fun stuff. 10 things that you guys may have missed and or need to know before you go into ReZero Season 3. And if you enjoy this video, leave a like. And if you enjoy just seeing me react and make videos like this, subscribe, hit the notification bell as well so you can stay updated on when videos, content go live, and all that good great shit. But without further ado, let's start off with the first one. Now, these are not in any particular order, so don't think that they're ranked from like the first being like the least important to like the last one being the most important, but this is just the order that I'm going to do it in. So first one is someone actually retrieved the Tome of Wisdom that Roswell had when it was thrown into the fire. I'll toss it up here on the screen, but it is said that there was a man or a person who retrieved the book from the ashes. And you know, they're talking about when Ram took the book or took the tome, tossed it into the fire, and that shit. That has like a lot of really big implications because, for one, Roswell staked his entire like existence on this book, like following this book, and because he lost to Subaru in the final bet thing, essentially he has no guidance. But if he were to find out that this book is actually recovered and it's not completely burnt to a crisp, I wonder what might happen, but we'll have to see. Going into number 2, I'd say this one is pretty up there for things that people may have missed, or specifically people definitely missed because they just didn't have it in the anime at all. And it was a conversation between Subaru and Wilhelm where he mentions that at some time after the fight with Sloth, there was a wound that he had on his shoulder that opened up, and Subaru was questioning like, hey man, where'd you get that wound? Like, you should get it fixed. And he was like, no, like this wound was actually given to me by the previous user of the divine protection of the Shinigami, which essentially, if there's any wound inflicted by the holder of the divine protection, they're going to reopen the wound whenever they're in range or when they're close enough to the person who they inflicted the wound on. Now, this is a big deal because Wilhelm goes on to say that the person who inflicted this wound is none other than his dead wife. Yeah, Teresia Van Astria. So that's going to be really, really curious. I think I know why they didn't have that in, but all I'm going to say is that was a bit of significant information that pulled up, or that wasn't in the anime, in the novels, and I think you guys should know that going into Season 3. Now, going on to the next thing. This one is something that is kind of known, but I don't know if everyone understands like the true like context of this. But Puck is not dead, and he is still technically with Amelia and gang, kinda. Well, so the crystal that Amelia originally had housing Puck was a special type of crystal that was extremely strong. It was very powerful, and because Puck is a great spirit, he's not able to be sealed / held in very like low grade crystals and monocrystals. So she has to get a better suited crystal to be able to like house Puck's spirit, because like he's a great spirit, and that may play into certain things that may happen in Season 3. Not gonna say anything specific, but yeah, just know that that's the whole Puck situation. He's not dead, he's alive, he's there, but like it's just complicated, but he needs a better crystal. Now, I'd say that this is one of the biggest things that you should know going into Season 3. Not so much that it's going to be like more or less relevant than anything else on this list, but I will say that it's one of the things that people definitely would have missed if they didn't have like a keen eye or ear. But it is the fact that Echidna actually escaped in the body of Ryuzushima, which was the one that helped Garfield. And yeah, she's just out now, and she goes by Omega, and not only is she out, but she has all of the witches, excluding Satella, of course, in a crystal around her neck, and she's able to use their authorities, which is freaking insane. Like, just think about it. The Witch of Greed is now out and has all of the other witches that she can communicate with at any time just around her neck, and all of their authorities at her use. That is a threat. That is a threat. Now, I don't want to get into any more because like I'm going to start rambling too much, but just know that that's a really big deal. There was a scene in the second season where you kind of see like that's what happened, but that's the way that Season 2 was supposed to end, with us seeing Echidna / Omega getting out. Alright, so the next thing that we have is that Roswell hired the hit on Beatrice, but not the other maids, meaning when he was talking to Subaru in the coordination ceremony, he told him that, like, yeah, I only hired the assassin to kill Beatrice, and I didn't know about the hit on the maid, so anyone else who was there to do anything extra was not done by Roswell, meaning there's somebody who is going after the Amelia camp that we don't know about. It could come up more in this season, don't know. But we also will, I'll add on the fact that during certain interactions, Mei Li did mention this character named Mama, who may or may not be important, significant to a faction and or group of people that Elsa and Mei Li worked for that could be appearing in season 3. We don't know, but I do know that the Mama character is someone who Elsa looks up to slash you know, is a part of their group, and Mei Li is a part of that group too, and she's for the most part like respecting but is kind of scared of this Mama person, so we can only assume that they're stronger than both Elsa and Mei Li, which is a problem, but I digress. Now, the next thing that I'm going to talk about, this is kind of like a 2-in-1, but I'll say the first part first. Now, Subaru is what is known to be a sage candidate. This is something that came up during the Witches' Tea Party, or I believe it was the last tea party that Subaru had, where all the witches pulled up. Typhon's like, oh, well, like, out of everyone, like, you should know since you're a sage candidate, and, like, know what? And it's going into the second thing, or the next thing, and is that Satella actually has split personality disorder. Now, I don't know what the correlation between Subaru being a sage candidate and being able to tell that Satella has a split personality disorder, but apparently when Satella received the Envy Witch Factor, she was incompatible with it, and it made her personality split. So I guess there is the Witch of Envy and Satella. Satella is the one who I'm pretty sure we saw, or Satella's the one that we saw at the Witches' Tea Party. However, I think that, or pretty sure that every time Subaru has like those return by death moments and like he's trying to reveal it, and we see like that person shrouded in shadow whispering in his ear with like the purple lipstick, I'm pretty sure that's the Witch of Envy specifically, and it's never Satella that is whispering to him, which is pretty interesting because they've pretty much always shown her with the purple lipstick, but never Satella herself. So Witch of Envy, Satella. Anyway, don't want to make this too long. But yeah, that's the 2-in-1. We have one that Subaru is a sage candidate. Roswell even mentions it towards the end of Arc 4 / like Season 2. And then that Satella has a split personality disorder. Now, the next thing that I think is pretty important to know is that Subaru is a spirit knight by the end of Season 2. Now, this is a really big deal because a lot of people like to say that Subaru's weak, which he is. He's pretty weak physically. Like, I mean, compared to the people in his verse. I'd say, like, as far as comparing him to normal humans, he is relatively strong in the verse of ReZero, but I digress. So much stuff about Subaru is leaning towards like the return by death, but now that his gate is broken, he has to rely on Beatrice to be able to use magic, and Beatrice being his spirit in the same way that Puck was Amelia's spirit is insane. And the reason why is because Beatrice actually has so many like spells and knows so much magic that's been lost to time, like lost to the ages because of the Forbidden Archive. And this is the essentially like the daughter of the Witch of Greed, so all of these techniques, forbidden spells, magic spells, all this stuff, Beatrice knows this. Like, and no, like not even Roswell is privy to like damn near half of the shit that Beatrice can do. So like when you think about it, this is a really broken character, and they trioed the Great Rabbit, which, you know, we needed a whole army to fight the White Whale back in Season 1. Now in Season 2, we have Subaru, Amelia, Bayako just fighting the Great Rabbit, which I would say is arguably a little bit more difficult to deal with than the White Whale. But I mean, I don't know. They're both pretty tough. It's just the fact that Subaru was able to basically beat them alone with Bayako and Amelia, amazing. So just know that Subaru is a spirit knight in the same way that Julius is a spirit knight, and similar to how Amelia had a contracted spirit being Puck. Now, the next thing to mention is Mei Li is not dead. Mei Li, as you saw at the end of Season 2, or at the end of the episode Choose Me, Mei Li was actually unconscious next to Garfield, which means they took her, and in the novel, like they go in a little bit more into it. They take her as a prisoner, and she also refers to Mama, like while talking to them about like if she were to go back to her original group, that she'd probably get a scolding, meaning she could probably get killed or something of that matter. But big stuff, because like remember, she can control mob beasts. That's a pretty big deal. We have Otto, who can speak to all animals essentially, and then we have Melee, who can command / tame, communicate to an extent with mob beasts. That's insane. So don't know what's going to happen with Melee moving forward, but she could prove to be a valuable asset if we were to, or if the Amelia camp were to use her efficiently. But so the last thing that I want to talk about is how at the end of season 2, Subaru and Roswell were talking at the coronation ceremony. Roswell essentially told him that, hey look man, if you fail to save anyone that you love at this point on, since I don't have the tome of wisdom, I'm going to incinerate, burn everyone and everything, which I think is really interesting, like to force him to reset essentially. And I think it's really interesting because it's pretty much the polar opposite / like the same concept of how Puck will freeze the world if Amelia ever dies. So if he ever loses Amelia, now that Puck isn't in the picture, Roswell will essentially take over that role, and hey, if you fail to save anyone, I'm gonna force you to reset, which I'm gonna say that adds a very interesting dynamic to the whole Subaru and Roswell like connection, because although Roswell has to follow Subaru's like ways to get Amelia to the throne, he's still like, yo man, you said that you want to save everybody, you're gonna save everybody. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. And I believe that was it. Yeah, we got through all those like pretty fast. The first time I recorded this, it was like 30 minutes because I was yapping too much, and not sure how long this one is gonna be like after like I cut out some of the stuff, but shouldn't be too long. It was like, hey, 10 things you should know before going into season 3, and I think these are all pretty significant bits of information. Some a little bit are going to be a little bit more relevant in the early bits of season 3 than others that may be a little bit more relevant later, but I digress. If you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell as well so you can stay updated on when I make videos, content, go live, and all the good crazy shit. And don't forget, I'm bricked up. You're bricked up. Let's be bricked up together and watch ReZero Season 3 together in October. Alright, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.